people to the gets to be disrespected.
What's up, family? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in a minute. I'm running a little bit behind, but give me just another minute. We get ready to go live. We are live in a second. So we're going to be talking about 2024, a year in review, all the hottest topics that we've had. You know, I tried to think of doing a top 10, and I'm going to explain. I didn't do a top 10 like I did last year because they had so many stories, so much stuff, honestly, and some things that were repetitive from the last 4 years. And I think you all know what I'm talking about, Trump, because that's all the media talked about ever since January 6th and so forth of 2021. And we're still going into 2025. And of course, Trump is going to be inaugurated in a couple of weeks. So we're going to still be hearing about Donald Trump. This stuff will not end. But I did a collage of all the latest, basically all the hot topics. I'm going to share it with y'all. If you saw from the thumbnail, y'all saw how that looked. Yeah, I did a whole, hold on a second, so y'all can laugh. You saw from the thumbnail, this is the actual picture of it. It's just a little bit larger, but these are all the topics, the year in review. We've had hurricanes to Diddy going to court to Trump and Elon Musk, Trump versus Harris, because remember it was Trump versus Biden. We got the Olympics, Jonathan Majors, all the stuff happening. Of course, you see in the background, rolling, he's looking at it, Roly Poly is looking at it, yeah, 2024, that was for them Simon stuck on stupid knucklehead. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. I guess, hold on one second. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go, family. Yeah, we got rolling. So yeah, that's the flyer I made for 2024. It has been a hell of a year in review, ladies and gentlemen. A lot has happened. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, Shout out to you, Danielle. Danielle has always been holding it down since I've been on here. Of course, we go live. Make sure you all are smashing up the like buttons. I got a lot of people in my family that are on X. We probably have much more. They're saying I got 6 people, but I know we're off today. I know a lot of people are doing different things because it is the new year. So some people going out, they're getting ready for parties later this evening. I thought of doing this later in the evening, but I figured I had some stuff I was trying to work out. Thank you, Danielle. That's my ride or die. My ride or die in the 985. Yeah, because Danielle lives. Yeah, she lives out in here, out in I don't know what parish is that you're in. Is it Lafourche? Okay. Yeah, that's the 985 area. It's not far from Homer. So yeah, we got 2024 a year in review. Yeah, and rolling, of course, we were part of that. Uh-oh, this Simon stupid fool came and checked me in church when I was getting biscuits for Kamala. So a lot happened in 2024. So let's get into it, guys. We know a lot happened in 2024. We were dealing with, of course, 2024 was the last year, at least, or could have been re-election. It was the year of Joe Biden's bid for re-election, which was obviously big news. That was the biggest political news that we thought was going to happen, whether he was going to get reelected running against Donald Trump. So Trump versus Biden part two. But then we realized, especially after the first debate, that things were not looking good for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. Now, he had secured essentially was going to be a lock-in for the nomination. Everybody thought that up until the point we saw this taking place, to the point where we saw the Trump-Biden debate. And we realized, and everybody was writing reports, everybody was saying something, that it was time for him to go and step down, that this didn't look good. You had George Clooney putting out a newspaper ad, a column with the New York Times, saying that we're not going to beat Donald Trump with this Joe Biden. And when we saw things like this is when we knew things were going to be tough.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
I don't think he knows what he said. We were watching this stuff live as it happened, and most people said that Biden had a bad night. And then now this was probably the earliest presidential debate, I think, in history, because they did this in June. Usually the presidential debates will start after the conventions. So after he secures the nomination, both candidates secure the nomination, is when the first presidential debates would take place. Let's just say like in September, and then if there's another one, it'll be in October. So Biden steps down, and of course he steps down. Well, then the obvious choice for everyone would have thought would probably be, well, the obvious choice, I guess, was going to be Kamala Harris, if you want to say that. Although there were some people who felt, I think Gavin Newsom could have done it, although Gavin Newsom wasn't a great candidate in the beginning. And Kamala Harris, of course, gets the nomination. And She steps down, and he endorses Kamala.
Right back to our chief White House correspondent.
So that was the big thing that happened there. And of course, we've seen stuff with Kamala Harris laughing all the time. She does the debate.
So when we think about what's at stake in this election, whoa, it's packed with some stuff. It's packed with some fundamental stuff. I say rather articulately.
Not really. Yes, that is the Vice President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, she goes in a debate with Trump. Now, she fared, I would say, much better than Joe Biden. There were some points that Trump fell off on. There were some things, though, I didn't hear a particular agenda from her. But what really got, I guess, a lot of people, everybody knew that she couldn't beat Joe. Be realistic, she could not beat Donald Trump, and it showed later in the election. Now, Kamala Harris, of course, she would be having the campaigning in these different cities, and she had all these celebrities that were coming out to support her. I'll say they support her, like Meg Thee Stallion, Quavo. They had Cardi B come out and do things for her when Cardi B even said that she wasn't going to be endorsing no president. But one thing that this proved was that in this election, in order to get the black vote, 2024 showed that number one, you have to have candidates that should be genuine and down to earth with people. Those that aren't celebrity. The other thing it showed is that rap artists and entertainers and celebrities do not have the influence to get people out to black people, all people really. But in particular, when they get black celebrities to point their fingers and vote, it is not a turn on, it's a turn off. So when she did this, Meg Thee Stallion comes out and does a show. Now, of course, there's some things that are copywritten, so I don't want to get a strike. This is in Atlanta. So you see everybody was bumped and so forth. And that's the reason why a lot of people were coming out to these shows, to this campaign. Her campaign was because she was bringing out all the celebrities. And we learned she actually raised $1 billion in donations, $1 billion. And yet her campaign, as it ended after her loss in November, that then the campaign was $20 million in debt. So 2024 showed that you cannot get people realistically, influence people anymore by doing rap shows and concerts to get them out to vote for you if you do not have a platform and agenda, which the vice president, in my opinion, I believe her only platform that she had was reproductive rights. That's all she talked about, was reversing Roe v. Wade or doing things for the dreamers. That was primarily it. Now, that was part in 2024. Now, of course, with that, Donald Trump wins re-election. So we know he wins re-election. And of course, he had one of the biggest things and mistakes I think Kamala Harris did, that Trump did, which was smarter, was he took advantage of using new platforms, going on the biggest platform in the country. And you can love him or hate him, and I don't really not particularly fond of him, but he went on Joe Rogan's podcast. He went on, he did of course, Elon Musk, who is a South African, did a meeting on X, that everybody on his website on X, because Elon Musk now owns Twitter, formerly Twitter is now called X, and people were actually listening to what he had to say. He did not dodge the hard questions. He went into he went into that territory. Kamala Harris didn't. She did friendly interviews with different people. Of course, she went on, and I had Roland Martin, and we'll get to him in a second. She went with Al Sharpton and talking about money, and she basically, in my opinion, gave him bribes so that she could look good. And so when everybody saw that, a lot of people saw that, they were not particularly sold on voting for her. Now, she still secured the majority of the black vote still, even though they're going to try and blame us and say black people didn't show up for her, but she couldn't get white men. She couldn't get white women. A majority of which is the majority in this country, a large number of white women to support her. Just like in 2016, when Trump ran against Hillary, there were 50% of white women that voted for Trump over Hillary. They stood by their man. Now, I don't want to keep focusing on Trump and Kamala Harris and so forth, but I point all of this out for a reason, bringing all of this in. Of course, he wins the election. Then on top of that, I mentioned Sharpton and Roland Martin, and we're going to tie that into how we have these. We're talking about the year the sellouts got exposed, because many of these black celebrities, from Al Sharpton, well, we know I've been not a fan of Al Sharpton. Of course, we're talking about Roland Martin Roland Martin, Oprah Winfrey. Now, they got paid monies in which to do sit downs with Kamala Harris. And these were Democratic friendly places, which showed there was a bias. Whereas Trump, and I'll give Trump the credit where credit is due, Trump actually went to the National Black Journalists Association convention and National Association of Black Journalists, and he went into hostile territory. Now, they were Democrat friendly.
President Donald Trump.
NABJ fact check. Again, journalists to discuss the.
Now, you noticed on this panel, of course, they had all women, no black male journalists.
Workplaces
Of course,
every day.
some of these women
is
also,
the same
like
professionalism that is
Rachel
maintained
Scott,
in
she
this
actually
arena.
works for ABC News.
Please welcome to the stage ABC News senior congressional
and she's
correspondent
an AKA, which is
Rachel Scott.
Kamala Harris's sorority.
Semaphore political reporter Kadia Goba. And anchor of the Faulkner Focus and co-host of Outnumbered on Fox News, Harris Faulkner.
NABJ. Mic's on? Hear me? There we go. Test, test, test. Good afternoon, NABJ, and welcome to a conversation with former President Donald Trump. This discussion continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president, and the impact of those policies, especially in Black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJ fact check. Again, the hashtag is NABJ fact check. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump. By addressing the elephant in the room, sir.
Now,
A
we
lot of
noticed
people
when
did
we
not
watched
think
this that she was
it was
very
appropriate for you to be here today.
attitude and so forth. She was
You
very
have pushed
hostile.
false
You
claims
see these
about some of
claims.
your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered
Black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the Black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights Act.
Now she's mentioning Lyndon Johnson. So look, I'm not really trying to go back over necessarily the same things because I covered the video with Judge Joe Brown, but this was just the highlight of everything. And we noticed how a lot of the people, let me put my music back on, how a lot of the shills that are in the Democratic Party, especially in media, have gotten exposed. You know, ABC News, since Rachel Scott is with ABC News, you know, they actually Trump had to sue and did win a lawsuit against George Stephanopoulos, who is an anchor who clearly is biased against him. You got and ABC. They have to give $15 million to the presidential library, to Trump's presidential library, to settle a defamation lawsuit he filed. But Trump won big. He won obviously re-election. Of course, I mentioned Roland Martin and Al Sharpton because they got exposed and got paid. Yeah, Al Sharpton, of course, got paid money from Kamala, $500,000 and $350,000 to do an interview.
They came out and apparently they paid a Roland Martin $350,000 to interview and to kind of run as a defense against everybody else who was talking bad about Kamala Harris. And I think they paid Al Sharpton $500,000.
Yes.
So always follow the money.
But we're not surprised by that.
Yeah.
Listen, this is what this is about. And Black people, until we pull our money together and can make legislation, can move things, in Washington, we always gonna be on some we shall overcome and turn the other
Right.
cheek and begging for what's rightfully ours. Even in her position, she knew she was going to have to go to the usual gatekeepers of Black consciousness, not Black awareness, something totally different.
They came out and
My brother is right.
I'll show you a real NFL contract and how it works. He gets a non.
I'm gonna save that video for later. That looks actually good because I like to see how an NFL contract looks like. But yeah, so yeah, according to FEC, Al Sharpton got $500,000 to him. Well, and let me be clear: the payments, the way they're worded, of course, they go to the companies. Like Al Sharpton has the National Action Network, and Roland Martin has that media company. You better know, stupid Simon. I can't even remember what his media company is. What, Black Star Network or whatever, whatever, doesn't matter. So he got paid that money. And so the shills, ladies and gentlemen, are starting to get exposed. But then we saw people getting angry and upset that if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, you had family members. Y'all, hold on. Something came up. Excuse me 1 second. I got to step out. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'll be right back. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I had to step out for a second. Someone was at the door. Yes, Happy New Year. So sorry about that. I was running behind. So we'll talk about Roland Martin, ABC, and Al Sharpton. Those were some of the things. And when we go into 2025, I'm hoping, and I think the best thing to wrap part of our year in review up, at least this topic, is that we realize that in 2025, we have to leave certain people behind, and those that are not for us. And by that, I mean they're not for the progress of Black people, or the progress of people of this country in general. They got to be cut. Going to the same people like Al Sharpton, and you get Al Sharpton, you get Roland Martin, you get Oprah, you get who I've never really cared for. Of course, the radio hosts like D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, they got exposed to because many people showed their ass off. You had a difference in opinion about this election, about Kamala. You didn't support them, you got attacked. Of course, Cat Williams, and turning that in, especially comedy. Cat Williams, he started off 2024 with a bang when he did his sit down with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay, because he exposed some of the people we were talking about, like Ricky Smiley, like Steve Harvey, and others. And that was a great thing. That was a hell of a ride watching that. Of course, we had our own Yeah, Club Shay Shay. Yeah, he got Shannon Sharp made a bundle off of that. That Club Shay Shay interview really, he was already on the map, but that podcast having Cat Williams, and I'm sure 2025 is going to be no different. I don't know how he's going to top that, but that was big back then. Yeah, he has over 86 million people on it. That was probably one of the most watched videos on YouTube in 2024. And hard to think, yeah, this was the new year when this video came out. Of course, I don't want to get a copyright strike in playing the video, but I mean, the stuff that we heard and we saw come out from this election. He talked about how some of these people are. He talked about, of course, we're going to get to Diddy and R. Kelly and a few others in a second. Now, R. Kelly really didn't obviously he's been in jail, so no major news other than he has had some Supreme Court cases. He's been appealing his cases, and I believe one of the cases that he had, they denied an appeal. I'm sure he's going to probably be fighting to take it up later to a higher court. But that was so back in October, the Supreme Court declined to hear his appeal Monday on his conviction. So that's already happened. And I guess tying that in, we can get further into it. Then we'll talk about, of course, the major news to me, which obviously would have been number one. Trump has not appointed any black people in his administration, Cheryl. There have not been any that have been appointed to my knowledge from what I have seen, the memes. However, here's my take on that. While I like diversity, I like competency as well, even better. And competency means people that know what they're doing moving forward. Of course, there are plenty of black people he could put in his cabinet who I think would be fine. I certainly think having a black attorney general would be great. I think I like to see that. They have the chief of staff right now on Biden, who's an Air Force general. And forgive me, I don't know his name, but seems to be a very competent brother. I wish he could stay on. But I'm look at the state of this country right now under the Biden administration, who is supposedly championing diversity with having Kamala Harris. And you see this country, and while they have diverse people in their cabinet, this country sucks. The direction of this country is bad. People have to work 2 jobs now to make ends meet. You have a degree, you have a college degree, you can't get a job in the field you want, or you gotta work another job, you gotta work the job in the field you have no experience in, or a lower paying job just to pay bills. On top of that, you may be working in a profession. And you think about it, when you're in the workforce, you're trading your time for pay. And that pay, if you're working, now I'm not knocking it because I used to work as a cashier once. You're talking about minimum wage working maybe $70.50 an hour. My time is worth much more than that, in my opinion. Now, everybody can't do that, and that job that I had was temporary, but some people actually need it. I know a brother right now who works in government, works in City Hall. He has to make a second job working at Academy because he's trying to keep up with stuff. He's got a family to support. So, and I understand that. So I'm not knocking people who do with that. And I've even had to take second jobs for it. I've had to do stuff I've done stuff on the side. I have to work and do things. It's not easy. And y'all know, hell, some of y'all are doing that now. While you're listening to me, you driving into work. But continuing what happened, thank you, Cheryl, for your donation. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Now, continue with R. Kelly, of course. The big thing in music was probably P. Diddy getting arrested. Now, before P. Diddy got arrested, P. Diddy was accused of, and this happened last year, he got sued by Cassie. This happened in November of last year. He got sued by Cassie. They had that look back law. Remember, Diddy was a part of that. Bill Cosby, I think Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, or Axl Rose. I think it was Axl Rose, but up in New York, yeah. L.A. Reid got accused of stuff. A lot of people were getting sued, and they had these look back laws. And Cassie sues Diddy. As they dropped the suit eventually when they reached an undisclosed settlement. Cassie Ventura sues him. We don't know the amount. Now, she was in a relationship with Diddy for 10 years, of course. And then we saw that viral video that went, that viral video from the footage of the hotel out in Los Angeles where she got assaulted. She alleged a decade cycle of abuse, violence, and sex trafficking, and she filed it in federal court under the Adult Survivors Act. And in May, that video was released. That happened in 2016. The video didn't go viral until 2024. My theory, of course, was that around this time, because remember, right around this time, Diddy had his home raided. If y'all recall that. And, of course, he reached a settlement. That was in November of last year. They reached the settlement. But the video goes viral, and Diddy's home gets raided. Now, he had several homes that were raided. His children were even handcuffed and placed outside. And that happened in March of this year. So my theory that this is my opinion now. Of course, he's getting ready to go to trial, and he has been sitting there. They've denied his bond. I'm just seeing your comment. Yeah, they did not. I'm gonna get back to it in a second. Danielle. They denied his bond, and he's been fighting back and forth to get there. They did a documentary that they had on TMZ after the Cassie video, especially because once the video came out, then you started to see all these other lawsuits against Diddy that taking place, accusing him of sex trafficking, him assaulting people, assaulting women. And one thing of course, now that he got sued, then they started to mention other celebrities because we know about the Diddy parties. The Diddy parties came out. Everybody was talking about that. And yeah, he's got 120 new sex misconduct allegations, a list of lawsuits. And of course, one of those lawsuits, some other news, they mentioned, this woman is mentioned, and there's a woman who mentioned Jay-Z in it. Now I'm going to talk about Jay-Z in a second. But this obviously was the biggest entertainment news. Now, I've stated my position about Diddy personally. I mean, I think Diddy is a freaking scumbag. Just like I think R. Kelly is a scumbag. I can't deny his impact, R. Kelly's impact at least, in the music industry as a singer and a songwriter. Because that man can write hits. He did so with other artists. And it leads me to question, actually, the morality of the artist, because when we knew about Aaliyah, people still wanted to work with R. Kelly. Now, he was never charged or convicted with anything at that time. He went to, and on top of that, let's be real, these men are not in jail. R. Kelly, at least in my opinion, is not in jail for, from what I've seen from the allegations of the video with the young girl. What he is in jail for and what Diddy is facing is federal charges. They're basically stating a RICO violation. That's what Diddy is in jail for. R. Kelly's not for marrying Aaliyah, not for that video, which he was acquitted on, although I think they tried to do the good around double jeopardy to get him. Now, the feds and states are different jurisdictions, but the feds went after him. And I think that they used, of course, they did with Jack Johnson, same thing, similar to what they're doing with Diddy, with this Mann Act. Now, we talked about that. So Diddy getting arrested was big news. And now Jay-Z being charged. And of course, the biggest news, and I guess I could talk about this because now this is new. The judge in that case last week, right after the Christmas break, he ruled that the trial could continue because Jay-Z's lawyers had been trying to file motions to get the case dismissed. They want to get the case thrown out. And they've been holding press conferences and so forth because they showed a timeline and showed that this woman, this accuser, who the judge said she can remain anonymous, stating that, number one, it was improbable for him to even interact with this woman at that time, how she was able to get from New York to New Jersey with a friend who's now deceased. Her own father said he didn't remember that. She admitted in an interview with NBC News that her story was inconsistent. She had inconsistencies. Yet a judge decided that the show must go on.
And a federal judge has ruled the woman alleging she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name, but the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. The judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed. The judge writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not...
Now, I think this is inappropriate. I don't think the judge has a right to attack because it certainly shows, to my opinion, bias. She has a right to attack Jay-Z's attorneys. Now, you notice in this lawsuit, this is a lawsuit. This is the woman who's anonymous. She filed it under the New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Act. Hold on for y'all. So notice, and I just noticed this while I'm looking at here. I'm looking at this video. I noticed here, do you see where she's suing Sean Diddy Combs recording? Bad Boy. You notice she's listed the businesses as the defendants. That's not by accident that the attorneys did that. Because if you sue them, now her attorney, of course, is Tony Busby. I have him in the thing in the collage that I did. Busby is the one that's leading the charge against Diddy. He has those women. He represents all of those women, if it's my understanding. But yeah, this is what's going on. That's the tactic that they have, that they're going after these celebrities. They sue the businesses as well, so that, and this is my opinion as an attorney, they do that to trigger employer-employee liability. So when you look at Sean Combs, Daddy's House recordings, She mentions Bad Boy Production Holdings, Bad Boy Book Holdings. Is to trigger the insurance is to get the insurance companies to react to this as well. Now, of course, Jay-Z's lawyers have hit hard and fought back, and Jay-Z has not faced any criminal charges as of now, but he's being sued. But I'm going to finish the video. Hold on.
Fast track the judicial process merely because the council demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and P. Diddy, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000, while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting up this statement 2 weeks ago.
Unnamed celebrity stopped. An unnamed celebrity watched while this happened. So she named Diddy, she names Jay-Z, but won't name the other celebrity. Although some people are saying it could have been J-Lo or so forth. I don't know. I don't like to make assumptions. I don't even know if this is true. It doesn't sound like it, in my opinion, because a woman by her own admission said she's inconsistent. And the judge is allowing this to go on.
Now a business mogul with decades of hits to his name, with songs like Run This Town.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance.
His attorneys have denied everything about Jane Doe's account and pointed to some alleged inconsistencies in her story.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The judge writing that while Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now, she may be required to reveal her identity at a later date to allow Jay-Z's lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
Oftentimes, when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named. And if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. And Tony Busby, the lawyer representing Jay-Z and Diddy's accuser, says in a statement to ABC News, quote, "I will say that the coordinated and desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat. We won't be bullied or intimidated." And we did reach out to Jay-Z and his team, but did not get a response.
So, I just got people texting me. Yeah. And so Jay-Z is getting accused. So a lot of that has come out, and many people are seeing this. So he gets sued and seeing this, and a lot of people think it's a shake. A lot of people think it's a shakedown or find it suspicious. I mean, when the minute the woman went on NBC News and said she had inconsistencies in her story, that should be a red flag to anybody. Now, yeah,
to the latest in the lawsuit against Jay-Z.
So yeah, she can remain anonymous.
And a federal judge has ruled
Y'all can go and look that up, but yeah, she said it herself. She said it herself that she was inconsistent. Now, we're gonna keep things in the music world. When we talked about exposure, I'm going to go back to that topic about the exposure. First off, make sure you all are smashing up the likes. Please make sure you hit that notification bell. We're live on Rumble. We're live on X and YouTube. Tell me in the comment section, what is your New Year's resolution? That's the comment. That's the question for the day. Do you have any resolutions for the new year? What's going to be different in 2025 that was different in 20 from what happened in 2024 for you? And what is your resolution? What are you going to do? I can tell you what my resolution is. I am to the point where I'm not waiting for, and I've started doing this in 2024. You got to do this in life in general and not wait for the new year. You got to cut negative people out of your life. That's one thing. And by negative people, anybody that tries to bring down your peace of mind, your happiness, those that are jealous of you, you don't have to hate them. You don't have to curse them out. You don't have to talk ugly about them. Distance yourself from them is the best way possible. That's what a lot of people fail to do. and they cling on to it because they feel that they need other people or need these people to be around them for their success. No. Or you owe something to them. No, you don't owe anybody anything. You owe God. You owe it to your children. Your parents, yeah, you can owe them too, but that's it. Cut toxic people out of your life. Second thing, get rid of procrastination. Accomplish your goals. You got to grab it by the balls. You want something out of life, and this is for anybody. Black people, this is for everybody, but especially black people. Yes, we know this is a racist country. Yes, we know this stuff, but guess what? We can still use this to our advantage. There's money to be made out here. There really is real money to be made out here. Other ways that you can do it. Whether it be in music, whether it be in education, although I know education sucks, teaching, whatever. They're hustling. There are ways to make money. But procrastination kills a lot of dreams. I'm not waiting on other people to do projects anymore. I'm working on projects now that I want to accomplish. I'm talking about in January that I'm doing, that I'm working for. Writing, whether it's writing new material, I'm getting ready to want to do a comedy special in the next few weeks, sometime in 2025. I'm just going to say it's going to be early. I don't want to say what date, but I'm looking at stuff and trying to iron out details, getting things together. But that stuff I'm doing, I'm actually going to be doing some more comedy shows for real. So I'm accomplishing my goals. Most definitely. Now I wanted to get back. Danielle said that she had an old college roommate who had been working for the post office for 30 years now. Now she's working at the post office and has to get another job. So she's still working at the post office. Wow. Now working at the post office, yeah, because I heard that was a great job to have. You work at the post office, you could get after 20 years, you get your retirement. But after 30 years, you're still working there? Yes, it sucks. But you got to do what you got to do for your family, man. Yeah, we're all stuck doing something for our family. Now, getting back to exposing people, the leeches. One leech we got to talk
woman alleging
is Fat Joe. Now, Fat Joe went on to attack the FBA's Foundational Black Americans. He attacked Lord Jamar. He didn't mention him by name, Tariq Nasheed. And Lord Jamar responded back. But one thing we exposed, and I saw Tariq Nasheed's microphone check, and I thought it was actually well done. All right, fam. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, why I got out. I've had some disruptions today. Of course, on this note, speaking of disruptions, make sure you're subscribe to my Rumble account because I'm going live through there. Next time, I don't think I'm going to be on YouTube that often. Like I've already said, I'm actually moving stuff over. Speaking of which, of course, I hope everybody had a blessed holiday. Speaking of holidays, how many of y'all seen Eve's picture with her family? What in the get out, Eve? That's Eve's family. That's her husband. I don't see any, noticeably, I don't see anybody from Eve's side of the family, it looks like, except the children, but that's something else. Rough Riders, hey, it's hard for the Rough Riders out here too now. Make sure y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but everybody was posting this holiday. Yeah, people talking about this folks picture. They got Eve looking like Sally Hemings, and Eve I'm gonna be nice. That's her family. She's married into. She's at the head of the table. At least they got. How much? What type of? Where do they? What does her husband do? Everybody know what Eve's husband does. He's got one of them Batman tables. That's Bruce Wayne money. Everybody know what her husband does? So I'm gonna look it up. Maximilian, I believe that's right. Maximilian Cooper. Maximilian, he's got that right. He's a fashion designer, a British fashion designer, racing driver, model, and entrepreneur. He organizes an annual international rally that brings together superstars and supercars. He has $10 million from Eve has worked $10 million from her own career, but Maximilian's net worth is, listen to this, is $60 million. So that motherfucker is loaded. Wow, that's a lot of money. So anyway, I got distracted when I got kicked out. So we were talking about Fat Sloppy Joe, because Sloppy Joe got in trouble for some remarks he made. And he was on, and I talked about this before. I think last week we discussed some remarks that he made about hip hop attacking FBAs and people's comments. And I think the worst part about it when he did this is the fact he said all of this stuff in front of other black people. So yeah, this is the clip. So y'all listen to this.
So they have a big problem. these guys, right? So they're against anybody who ain't with them. So this ain't a popular message. This ain't what everybody's saying. We might be giving them too much light right here is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
So there's a small minority to get on them Twitters and they running it up. We got a fucking Looney Tune like your man Lord Jamal, who's a fucking loony. So they have a big problem, these guys, right? So they're against anybody who ain't with them. So this ain't a popular.
He went on My Expert.
This ain't what everybody's saying. We might be
and made these remarks. And FBA, of course, we know they tried to attack that as this radical group. FBA is just basically standing for Black lineage. People who trace their lineage back from the time even before slavery, because there were Blacks here before slavery. I know it's hard, but we celebrate the our Black identity here in the foundations of the United States. That's what FBA is, a foundational Black American. We built this country. Black people built this. Now, where we talk about tethers and so forth, or what Tariq talks about when you're talking about people from Jamaica or the islands, the Virgin Islands, or people who are identify as Puerto Rican and so forth. The problem where it gets at and why there's so much division and so forth is because normally, especially, and even from people coming in from Africa, is that although we have a common ancestry, we have ties, we're related. And yes, our experiences with racism, white supremacists, of course, he's going to hate anybody who doesn't look like him, who's a darker hue. We get that. The issue, though, is that our experiences, especially with foreign Black, well, I'll just use the term, let's say non-FBA or foreigners, is that some, if not all, have a negative disdain for Black people in this country. They think as Black people as being lazy, not working hard, wanting free handouts, and so forth. They adapt and take the white supremacist narratives and use as their own, just like a lot of other immigrants, people like from Asia, who have a disdain for Black folk, people from they're Hispanics that have a disdain, not all of them, but Asians in particular, I know so because we see it in the grocery stores and convenience stores. Yet they'll set up their convenience stores. They follow you in the store thinking you're going to steal something from them. Look what happened in LA in 92. Latasha Harlins. Now, this is the Fat Joe who said this. And what was upsetting is that he goes on this podcast. He's in a barbershop full of Black people, calling Black people racist, and drops the N-bomb, not as a compliment, not as a term of endearment. Now, this is how he ends 2024. And he ends being unchecked by these people. It took us on X to check Fat Joe. Fat Joe should have been checked a long time ago. If it weren't for Big Pun, and Big Pun in his video of Big Pun praising Black people for embracing Boricua. Black people embraced Puerto Ricans, accepted. We let them come in. We created hip hop. If you want to know where hip hop came from, pick up a James Brown record. Gil Scott-Heron.
These rumors were made by radical Black racists. Let's just say that. Okay, it's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a Black guy that ain't down with them. Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't Black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say their name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And that shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, you know, your leader? Yo, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. Yo, bro. These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. Okay. It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear guys.
We know that's all bullshit because we listen to first of all, Jamaican music, we've listened to that. But when you start, we listen to reggae, we like Bob Marley, we like Jamaican, we've supported Jamaicans in hip hop. I know Busta Rhymes, he has Jamaican ancestry, but he tried to say, oh, hip hop came from the dance halls. No, it didn't. Tell the fucking truth. It didn't. You may have had some input and added stuff, but you didn't create it. This is the Fat Joe we talking about that we allowed to be a part of the hip hop community.
And these don't want to
He
hear.
only had one hit.
Right now on TV. This is if you love real hip hop, make some motherfucking noise.
This is who gets to host the BET Hip Hop Awards. By the way.
Hey yo, you had to bring Remy to save you. This is pathetic. You got all the other dusty bitches. Hey yo, let's go. Hold on. Let's not go. Hey yo, check this out. Hey yo, Crack. The fact that Remy had to come out to save you. Every fucking song got a feature, John. Hold up, Crack. I didn't see nobody come. Y'all seen somebody come out here with me? Oh, them I've been either. You gotta go to the crack house to find them bitches. Hold up, but let me tell you something, Crack. I've been either. You gotta go to the crack house to find them bitches. Hold up.
That's my first time hearing that, but he's always said some low-key racist shit. That's the first time I'm seeing this video. But yeah, from what I heard, he said, yeah, he's always cracked and said something against black folk. So next, what we got going on, but yeah, I won't give Fat Joe too much attention, but that's essentially what I wanted to talk about with Fat Joe. These are the people who I'm talking about who are toxic. Let's leave these motherfuckers out of 2025, please, going into 2024. Leave them out. I don't know. We can't leave no damn chicken wings out of 2024. Out in 2024. What is wrong with you? Sorry, y'all. I was just sharing the video. So I said black people can leave chicken wings out in 2024. Cheryl said, listen more and talk less. Huh. You know what? That is good. A wise man who has nothing to say should say nothing at all. I like that. All a wise woman. Y'all want to leave out wings in 2024? Oh, 50 Cent has a residency. I'm just looking through X, y'all. He had a residency.
him for the entire show. He spoke once only to say he was doing 6 shows and then he was done. He performed 84 minutes and then walked off stage. It really felt like he didn't want to be there. These were not cheap seats. I'll put more details.
Yeah, 50 done got his money from y'all. You know, speaking of people who need money, actors like Nick Cage and Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey came out recently. I was talking about the financial situation earlier. I mean, yeah, even Jim Carrey, I just thought about this. He said he has to keep working. He needs the money. Now, this is a man who had nabbed the $20 million check at one time. He used to get paid, want to be one of the highest paid comedic actors. Well, not just comedic, just highest paid actors in the country. I remember when he did Dumb and Dumber. I remember when he did The Mask, when he did Bruce Almighty. That was over 20 years ago. That's a lot of money. Of course, we can't let 2024 go down without talking about a couple of other things too. We know about it was the year of the bed. It was the year of the bedwench and the simp. Black politicians who were betting it up for the Democratic Party got exposed. Bonnie Willis. Now, she won re-election, but then she also lost because now she had one of the most expensive trials in history out in Fulton County, the Young Thug RICO trial, which basically ended up with nobody except Young Thug pleading guilty, but no one really going to experience serious prison time. On top of that, she had to step down from her main case that she was using to trying to springboard her career, which was going against Donald Trump. And she hired her boyfriend Nathan Wade to be the prosecutor. And remember, it turned out that she and Nathan Wade were in a relationship. The judge in the Supreme Court ordered that the Court of Appeals recently ordered that she cannot continue to try this case because there's obviously a conflict of interest. Now, she may have not been happy about it, but this is what they had. This is what they went with. So he won big. So she was disqualified from the case. Now she has to be subpoenaed.
A judge rules Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis can be subpoenaed by the state Senate. This comes as they continue to investigate possible misconduct during her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump. Fox News' Eric Perry is at the live desk on the story. Eric, what is the latest on this development?
Yeah, Christine, this comes just weeks after a state appeals court removed Willis from the Georgia election interference case against President-elect Trump. Now, DA Willis has until January 13th to submit arguments before a final order is ruled. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis is back in the spotlight after Superior Court Judge Shakira Ingram ruled she can face a subpoena by the Georgia State Senate. The Republican-led Senate committee is looking into whether she engaged in misconduct during her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump.
They are the head of all prosecutions in their county. So therefore, no one should be able to question them, right? Well, the Georgia Senate disagrees with that.
Trial attorney and political analyst Joshua Schiffer breaks down the decision. According to the ruling, Willis has until January 13th to submit arguments over whether the subpoenas require her to provide confidential information. Judge Ingram will then issue a final order saying what Willis has to respond to.
Prosecutors are used to strong independence and the exclusive duties and privileges of their position.
Former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes represents Willis in the case and says they want the ruling overturned and they plan to appeal. This also comes after a 2-1 ruling by the State of Appeals Court earlier this month, removing Willis from the Georgia election interference case against President-elect Trump, citing, quote, an appearance of impropriety. Willis's office is asking the Georgia Supreme Court to review that decision, this fight going back months. The Senate committee hoped to question Willis back in September, but she skipped that meeting. The committee turned to Judge Ingram in October, asking for Willis to comply with the subpoenas. Schiffer says, don't expect anything major to happen soon.
What this really does is moves the ball forward to an eventual date where Fonnie Willis will either have to show up and testify and bring some information,
Yeah, we know there's a lot to keep track of here. And here's something else to keep in mind. The current Georgia legislative term ends when new lawmakers are sworn in for their new term. Republican State Senator Greg Dolezal of Cumming says he plans to file to reestablish this committee at the beginning of the 2025 legislative session. We've reached out to the district attorney's office. We're waiting to hear back. But again, just something else adding on for her office there. At the live desk, I'm Eric Perry, Fox 5 News.
Eric, thank you so much.
Go for your goals in 2025. Yeah. So Fonnie Willis, yeah, she went for her goals and didn't win. Nah. Of course, the other important thing that happened in 2024, ladies and gentlemen, was in sports when we had the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, and we were introduced to Reagan. Ray needed to be gunned. Breakdown people just making fun of Reagan. I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Give it up to Ray Gunn!
Breakdancing was breakdancing was brought to the Olympics. And it was the first time in Olympic history breakdancing had introduced. Is also the last, because after this, they got rid of this shit. And oh, she's possessed there. That's the possession. They couldn't even play real hip hop music. And so that's the rumble make right there, Cheryl. Thank you. So this was so bad that they just went ahead and said, we ain't doing this shit, not even in Los Angeles next year. This is it. So that was the Olympics. Of course, they had that Olympics opening that was mocking the Last Supper. Even though they say it wasn't mocking the Last Supper, it was the Lord Dionysus feast, which is what they were doing. They openly admitted, though, one of the actors admitted that's what they were trying to do, was mock the Last Supper. And not to mention also, they had one actor, his McNuggets was showing. Yeah, everybody was everybody didn't think that was funny. I didn't think it was.
Let me transition to another subject.
I don't want to go into it. Yeah, half naked men dancing up there. One person, was exposed on live TV. And there was a lot of backlash for it, as there should have been. The Olympics, just to me, they weren't even that great. Then on top of that, they made the young lady return her bronze, or told her she should return her bronze medal. Yeah, Jordan Childs. They ordered that she should return it because the judges made a mistake in judgment. And I don't think she did return it, or they just ended up giving I think what happened in the end was the other gymnast got the got another bronze medal, if I'm not mistaken, because she's like, I'm not going to give this woman a medal that I earned. You guys made the mistake. And Jordan Childs was right. Because they had appealed it. They said it wasn't 4 seconds late. Right, and that's what happened. There was an appeal about, I guess, the performance. They tried to say, well, the Americans appealed it too late. There was video footage that showed that it wasn't, that they got it in time. However, they still went and tried to strip this bronze medal away from this young lady. And understandably so, I don't think she gave it back. Good for her. I don't think she should have given it back either. Yes, she filed an appeal. Yeah, they did it 1 minute before the deadline when they appealed it. And IOC, I thought that's the company that's the IOC upheld the findings of the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, she certainly, I thought she did a good job. It's messed up that happened. But yeah, Reagan was the highlight of I should say this highlight. She was the pink eye of the Olympics. That was awful that they allowed that. So that happened. Of course, I mentioned Jonathan Majors. He sat down for an interview. Jonathan Majors, he went from white to black. Jonathan Majors lost everything. Of course, he was king, lost his job, was fired last year because he got convicted, I believe wrongfully. Yeah, Grace Jabari, who was his girlfriend. He was convicted back in December of last year, was sentenced in April of this year to 52 weeks of an intervention program and probation. Although I felt that he got screwed in that case because that woman attacked him, and the fact that she got charged, both of them were actually charged. She got charged, and then they only wanted to punish Jonathan. She chased after him. The jury saw that, and they acquitted him on the most severe stuff, but not on the minimal stuff, and that ruined his career. But Jonathan Majors sat down. He did an interview with ABC News, and then he got together with Megan Good, and they're engaged. Yeah, Jonathan was taking off, and he was taking off he was running from white flight. He got so tired of being with that white woman, He went back to black. He's like, yeah, I fucked up for a minute. He's running from her. Just look at that. He's got about a 20-second head start from her. This motherfucker was running like he's getting ready for Creed 4, and they charged him. But he sits down and does an interview with ABC News. And I certainly don't think he should have been convicted. He goes back. He loses, they actually, to the point that because he got fired, Disney decides to go back and bring Robert Downey Jr. back from the dead to play Dr. Doom. And so they had to revamp all of Marvel Comics, which is why I'm not really that much into going back and supporting Marvel per se. Now I may end up, of course, they got Captain America, the new Captain America movie coming out in February. And I know Anthony Mackie is playing the new Captain America, but I'm not that enthused or impressed to see it. Yeah, I thought that was screwed up. I'm surprised Grace Jabbar didn't get Tony Busby to represent her. But she ended up dropping. Now, interesting with that, she did end up, and I will say this, dropping her lawsuit against Jonathan Majors. They dismissed it. It was dropped. It was a defamation lawsuit. Yeah, she dropped. And it was dismissed with prejudice. Right, and she filed it after he was found guilty. I'm going back to black for sure. I'm gonna put a ring. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate your donation. Shout out to my family on X and Rumble. I appreciate it. And yeah, that was big. So 2024 has been a hell of a year, guys. Just to wrap things up, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, we are. I definitely will do that. Danielle, we gotta get Nana's back to selling some stuff. We're trying to get it in store still. I've kind of taken a pause from it. Honestly, things have been tough in 2024 with me. And not saying too much, but it hasn't been easy. But I will say that if you have survived 2024, ladies and gentlemen, and you're still here, then you can certainly survive anywhere. You can do wonders in 2025 because 2024 was hard. And of course, there were so many people that we lost in 2024 that I can't forget. Of course, recently, Jimmy Carter, we know the former president of the United States, died, yes, on Sunday. He was 100 years old. He lived a long and good life. And I think earlier this year, his wife, Rosalie, had passed. But we lost a lot of good people, a lot of people who passed, from actors like Lou Gossett Jr., James was a surprise to many.
I'm not really a big fan of Nikki Giovanni, but yeah, Nikki Giovanni, she passed away at 82 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, James Earl Jones, big for everybody, but James Earl Jones was 93 years old, and he was diabetic. He had a blessed life. Yeah. 2024 was better. 2016 was same to you, Danielle. I pray 2025 is gonna be better. I have no idea who these people are. Yeah, the woman who played Alice, that movie, that TV show Alice, I don't know who that is. She passed. Yeah, Carl Weathers, I forgot about him. Yeah, 76 years old, Carl Weathers. He just they actually posthumously gave him a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah, Nikki Giovanni just recently passed. Sorry about that, man. I don't know, my thing is crashing here, but Nikki Giovanni was into that feminism shit. Yeah, these are all the actors. And actresses who passed. Yeah, Linda Levine was the star of uh, Alice. Quincy Jones, of course, died. I think he was 93. Roman Jewison, he was the one that did In the Heat of the Night. And I think he also didn't he do the Hurricane? Yeah, 97 years old. That's a nice life. He did A Soldier Story too. Yeah, yeah, I like The Soldier Story. That's a classic movie. For those that haven't seen that, that's from the 80s. Yeah, O.J. Simpson, Chris Mortensen passed. Damn, I didn't know. I forgot. Chris Mortensen passed. I didn't know. Dikembe Mutombo. Yeah, I remember him. Pete Rose. Yeah, Greg Gumbel just died. Ricky Henderson. Yeah, these are all the people who have passed away, y'all. So we'll give them a rest in peace to all of them. Yeah, Bill. Fuck, I didn't even know Bill Walton died. Yeah. That's an interesting story. She was a Latina woman who was coerced into unwanted sterilization. This is an interesting story. I never knew about this. Well, shit, this is stuff they did to black women. Fannie Lou Hamer was sterilized. Sheila Jackson Lee. Yeah, James Lawson Jr., Dr. King's right hand man, Ethel Kennedy. Yeah, a lot of people. Dr. King's son. Yeah. Frankie Beverly. Running away. Yeah, we threw down for Frankie. We threw down for Frankie down here in New Orleans. Yeah, Duke Fakir, who was the last remaining four top. Yeah. Well, all I would say to this area, Tito Jackson, yeah. Shout out to Taj, his family. Yeah, may he rest in peace. Whitney Houston's mama, Sissy Houston, passed. Chris Christopherson, these are people I know. Yeah, I remember him from the Blade series, but he was a songwriter. He actually wrote Al Green's, and I love this song to this day, For the Good Times. That's my favorite Al Green song. Yeah, Quincy Jones passed. That was big. So yeah, a lot of people. So may all of these people rest in peace, y'all. But they will be missed. But 2025, we're looking ahead. Wally Amos, yeah, famous Amos. 2020 for Joe Madsen. Yeah, we're moving forward. All right, y'all be safe and be blessed. I wish you all the best in 2025. We will see each other on Rumble and X. Thank y'all for all who've supported and showed something. Yeah, Jimmy Carter passed. What's up, DeAndre? Yeah, we did a lot this year. We did a lot comedy-wise as well, man. I missed you at the comedy show Saturday. Thought you were coming. All right, y'all. Y'all be safe and be blessed. And if you are going to pop fireworks, be safe. Be careful if you're going out tonight, because they all, when it's New Year's, when it's 12 o'clock, they do start shooting. So everybody be safe, okay? God bless y'all. Love y'all. We'll see y'all. God says the same. We're going to see each other in 2025, January 1st. Peace. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel GBoot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.